All right, everyone, welcome to the FTCA Forward Thinking Chiropractic Alliance YouTube page. We are revisiting this concept, this topic once again. It's a hot topic in the FTCA Facebook group right now, where there's over 8,000 chiropractors and chiropractic students discussing the real talk, real important issues of the profession. And this average chiropractor salary thing, the story is not done yet with the National University Health Sciences and their social media posting. Previous videos, we talked about this graphic that was in LinkedIn.com that said the average salary for DCs was $182,000 a year. Well, then they posted, National University of Health Sciences posted on their Facebook group the same infographic with a couple changes that should be kind of obvious to you. Now it's $123,400. And the verbiage has been changed from average salary for DCs to average total compensation for DCs. So where are they getting these numbers from? I made an error, and I will always admit when I make an error. In the previous videos, I said there was no source. There is a source. It's down at the bottom of this post, and it was linked to the bottom of this post on their Facebook group, and it is this thing called the Chiropractic Economics Annual Salary and Expense Survey, which was pumped out June 13th, 2019. All right, so let's go through this as fast as we can to get to some of the most key points. All right, so 22nd Annual Salary and Expense Survey was the participants were more than 800 doctors of chiropractic. Okay, so 800 doctors of chiropractic. They're about more or less let's keep the math somewhat simple, 70,000 chiropractors in the United States, about 100,000 chiropractors total in the world. But if we just want to stick to the United States, because this seems to be US focused, 800 respondents is about it's less than 1.2%. So they made their statements based on less than 1.2% of the profession. So is it statistically significant, this thing that they put out? I don't think so. And then sadly, I have to admit, it's an article for chiropractors, so they had to explain what statistics and what averages are. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. But that is record breaking. That's more responses than ever. That could be great. Now, a little aside about these surveys and people who respond to these kind of surveys. So it's like an online web-based questionnaire. So you have to choose to respond to the web-based questionnaire. Now let's think about who's going to respond to a web-based questionnaire about how much money you make. It's probably going to be the people who make money. And the people who don't make money probably aren't going to be as motivated to answer these questionnaires. So that can skew the statistics quite a bit. And when you've already got a small number of respondents, less than 1.2%, you're going to get bad numbers. And then people use these bad numbers to market to people, and that's where the problem begins. All right, so let's break this down. More than 56% of chiropractors reported gross billings are increasing compared to last year. So overall, the industry is doing pretty well. That's not what that means. Chiropractors reported gross billings are increasing just means they're billing more. It doesn't mean they're getting paid more for the billing. It just means they're billing more. Gross billings are increasing. It doesn't mean the industry is reportedly doing well because they may not be getting paid for those billings. So, okay, we want to stay positive. Things are looking better. They probably are actually looking a little bit better for many reasons. Multidisciplinary integrated practices are achieving success. And new products such as supplements and CBD are opening door to increase retail sales. Okay. All right. And the opioid epidemic, people's awareness of that might actually be one of the reasons why things are looking a little better. People are choosing, and even some medical systems are referring out due to opioid prescription issues. We can probably discuss that later. All right. So who responds to this survey? Who responded? What's going on here? Who's got this huge average salary? What is average total compensation that National University of Health Sciences is talking about? The average respondent, if you look at the 3-year trend here, is about 48 years old, somewhere around there, 48 years old. Those are the people. The people that National University of Health Sciences are typically marketing to become chiropractors are not 48-year-old people. They're in their 20s, maybe early 30s. And when you graduate from chiropractic college, you're probably like in your late 20s, early 30s. Mostly males. This one, 2019, 17 and a half years in practice. That's the number. So why do we get these huge numbers that we get for the salary? 123,400 for average total compensation, whatever that means, or 182,000 that they claimed before. You have to be in practice for a long time to get to those numbers. You have to build a patient base, which I'll show you later on in these statistics. You don't get that right out of school. Solo practitioners. Most of the people who participate in this profession are solo practitioners. The number of group practitioners or partners reported in this survey has gone down. Associates, it's about the same. And the increase, there's an increase you can notice in franchise ownership. So this idea that was promulgated in this graphic that there's a hospital job demand, it's just not true. There isn't a demand for chiropractors to work in hospitals. There are some people that are chiropractors that work in hospitals, but there aren't a large group of people that work in that setting. So let's move on. Okay. Average DC salary. Average DC salary is actually going, I don't know, it's fluctuating, but down in this report compared to the previous two to 97,495. And that's probably why they couldn't use that number of 182,000 as an average salary for DCs. It was like more than double what the survey actually said, which was their source. So then they used the number of average DC total compensation because, that's a better number than 97,000. And kudos for using the proper number. I don't even know why you didn't throw in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5. The 3, 5 would have even looked a little better if it's about looking like the number's bigger. But even that number, remember up above in this article, they said that everything's getting better. Or what was the verbiage? It was overall the industry reported doing well. No, the industry didn't. 800 people who are part of the industry sort of did. But when you look at the actual numbers, they're down. It's down to 123,000 when the years before were up. It looks like last year was a good year for a lot of people compared to when you look at these survey respondents compared to these 3 years in total. So just sort of like, what's going on here? Like, where are these numbers coming from? This number soup. And this is what we got. So here's the deal. Males who are about 50 years old and solo practitioners are the ones who respond to this survey. They're the ones who are getting these numbers. Not saying that someone who's not a male, who's not almost 50 and all that, can't make these numbers, but this is who responded to this survey, and that's what these numbers are based on. But your average respondent in this survey owns one clinic. That's 90% of people own one clinic. So that hospital demand thing is so out the window. They prefer to practice in the suburbs. They employ no one else in the clinic. There's a large number of people who do that. They're alone on an island, or they might employ one person. And the average respondent sees about 130 patients a week and has a patient visit average of 51. How long does it take to have a patient visit average of 51? Now, this is the average in their clinic. The average patient that they see in their office will see them for 51 times over the life of their care. Young chiropractors, you do not, if you've been practicing for a year, you do not, I defy me to show me anyone who's got a PVA of 51 their first year out. You would have had to see them 51 times that year. So say you see somebody 10 times a year, you'd have to see them for 5 years to get a PVA around 50. So this just shows that if you want to make money in this profession, if the money is the deal here and you're like, where's my money? I'm working really hard and doing all the right things and I can't get to this average total compensation. It's because it takes years to do it. It takes years to build up the patient base. And they attract 7 new patients a week. You go around and ask all your friends how many new patients they get a week, and you might be surprised, if they're being honest, how many actually get 7 new patients a week. That's a pretty good number. And they're seeing patients about 30, 40 hours a week. They're seeing the patients 30 to 40 hours a week. They still got to do all the other stuff, management, marketing, paperwork, the business side, taxes, and all that. outside of that 30 to 40 hours a week. So they're working a lot. They're working hard. The people who are getting money are working hard, and they don't mind telling everyone about it in a survey. So that's your picture of what's going on. That's what's going on there. Okay. So we can be a little bit more accurate about what we can tell people who might become chiropractors about the truth about what they should expect to earn. And I'm not hammering on Northwestern University of Health Sciences. There are other schools that are really interesting with their statistics too. So, I mean, I could look at all the schools, and I know all the schools do it. Cleveland University of Kansas City puts out this article in 2017. How much do chiropractors make? And according to salary.com, it was $125,000. I went to salary.com, and it was $149,000. So I'm confused where they get the numbers from. You know, it's a different number, and it's also a different year, so that could be it. But the interesting one as well is, like, when you look at this, as we close out here, the 12% growth through 2026. So they say 12% growth through 2026. Cleveland says 12% growth through 2024. You click on the dang link, and it opens up this site. This is their source, is learn.org. And their source says projected growth 2018 through 2028. So we can't even get the year right. And it's 7%. It's 7%, which isn't even what these folks were saying, was 12%. And there's an asterisk there, and there's an asterisk there, and the asterisk leads to a source of the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And what do they say the median salary is for chiropractors in 2018? $71,400. And remember, 2018 was the good year of those 3 years. $71,410. We'll throw that 10 in there to make it look even better. I think that is probably the more accurate number of what a median salary is for this profession once you start to actually get respondents that are younger than the 20-year practicing respondents. This is a more reflective number of what's going on, is about 71,400. And I'll tell you, people that are 1 or 2 years out of school, they're still looking at that number like, where's my $70,000? Because they're not getting paid that much either. But I'll take that. I'll take the 70,000. I'll say that is probably the best number. And the source, I am not a bootlicker by any means, but the source is from the federal government, U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I'm going to go with that probably a little bit more than salary.com or Chiropractic Economics survey of 800 people, which is less than 1.15% of the profession, or somewhere less than 1.2% of the profession. So that's my roundup of these numbers. Ironically, this thing that was on the National University of Health Sciences Facebook group, or Facebook page, that had the reference to the Chiropractic Economics article, they removed the link to the source just recently. Like within the last couple hours of me recording my other videos, they removed that link to the source. So obviously the source, someone's questioning the source as well. And we have to ask questions about these organizations and these institutions, because we need to hold them accountable to being honest. They have the job of initiating chiropractors into our profession. It's a small profession, and our reputation is always on the ropes, and we need good people here for the right reasons. And the only way to do that is to initiate them properly, matriculate them properly, and demand that honesty and accuracy in the numbers and the things we say is used at all points and all stops. That's my little rant. Hopefully this subject will die, but I have a really bad feeling that average chiropractic salaries as a subject matter is not going to die anytime soon. And for that, we will have this YouTube page. Please subscribe and tell your friends and share. And if your parents are wondering where all your money is now that you're a big bad doctor, show them these videos to explain it's a little more nuanced than that. Take care.